It's literally the same code. Pause if you want to look at it at any length, because I'll take it down in a few seconds. But yeah, it's literally the same lines of code, except that this time it's part of curse status effect. So let me repeat that again, because I can hear the stumble in my own voice. It's the same code, just in a curse file instead of being in part of an item. So that's all I'm trying to say. There's a little something extra, and that's that I changed the message to say something different, because you're not using an order ticket. It is more status effect. If the thingamajiggy, the thumbnail was any indicator, because I was trying to remember my backstory. I'm just gonna say it's 7th curse. It felt like 7th curse, so I'm just gonna say 7th curse. But we are on Azal, not on random item sets. So as we get into Azal 7th Curse, 3 custom mysteries, hey, this is the status effect we're working with. So, it is literally the Cthulhu status effect image, except with the ramen background. So, it took me like 15 minutes tops to make that. So that's all I need to say. Second mystery, Takshi's-san. Second encounter, dexterity, strength, maybe a knowledge check, but just to show here that you can also use these curses through PERM, and it gives you an item. If I try to do it again, I will not be able to, because like I said, it's literally the same effect as in the last video, except for the message being different. Oh my goodness, I'm stumbling over my own words. But anywho, yeah, let's get this started. So, empty bottle, ramen, healing, and this is going to be a moderately easier run. I mean, if you get +2 healing at the end of every mystery with a chance of doing more, that's pretty powerful. So, 3 custom mysteries today, which are going to be Taxi, Orphan, and Handkerchief. In the next episode, I should definitely switch around the mysteries, but we also have Akamanto. So, Taxi, I don't remember at all. I'm just going to take Handkerchief first and hope for the best. So, as we get through this right now, we'll pick up our items and not really much else to the video. That's literally, hey, you're going to see ramen every other time. I can mention some more behind-the-scenes stuff. I did not edit this image at all. In fact, I should really just leave the dither on all of the meat here. Here is supposed to be the slices of meat. I don't remember what kind of meat exactly. As someone who's not from Japan, who's taken Japanese to an extensive length, I don't even remember what the exact definition of tonkotsu is. I think it's a reference to some kind of meat, but I don't remember. I forgot it was the ton part or the kotsu part. Self-proclaimed person who has extensive Japanese, who's learned Japanese to some extent. I've mentioned it in the past, but I'll mention it again. If I were to take the Japanese proficiency language test, is that basically the one that has 5 levels. I'm going crazy. Goes to show how I didn't even do it. And if I said I did, then I was lying. But I don't think I've ever said that I did, because I haven't. But I would be no higher than level 2, because I think it's from 1 to 4 or 5, right? I need to remember. Anyway, moving on. Basically, this is the meat. The part here in the image is the meat, and then there's obviously the ramen, and it could be a lot more. That graphic could look a lot nicer, but I'm just trying to make things work. Also, we were on Azal, and I completely forgot. So, spells and more ramen. So if this is working correctly, yeah, we should be able to get another tonkotsu ramen there. I did not run into a single encounter, by the way, but all the better, so I can remember my second encounter. That's the reason why I mentioned that in the first place. But we did not fight anything there, so we'll take Akamanto now. We'll take Taxi after and see what happens to us. But otherwise, again, the ramen is the exact same. In fact, to just mention more behind the scenes here, this is the same item. However, it's granted by a different source, in this case a curse, whereas in the last episode it was granted by an item. So again, it's a really small difference, but it's something that if you don't know any programming and or have never made custom content for World of War before, it is something to note. That way you can kind of see how status effects can be implemented, basically, or changed if need be. Because in this case, the gameplay difference is that I haven't used the police station yet. The gameplay difference is that we don't have an item sitting on our inventory that is literally dead weight, because the way that I made it was that it was dead weight, so it was literally doing nothing for you except for getting you ramen. I say literally nothing. That doesn't mean the effect is bad. That means because it's +2 all healing, but I really should just visit it. I was just trying to figure out if I wanted to use the mansion or the hospital police patrols. We'll use the hospital police patrols. Injuries and curses, by the way. Or spells, sorry. But I've remembered more right now than I have in like probably hundreds of episodes. But I need to bring out these handcuffs, because otherwise I'm going to be having a bit more trouble here. We don't need the second batch of ramen. We shouldn't. But we will be taking damage in the face. So the question is... I don't think it matters, actually. Yeah, I don't think it matters whether we hit the second attack or not. It's nice that we do, but we didn't. So we just do this, and then we handcuff our way out. You shouldn't do this, by the way. So here's your base advice for the day. If you're not, especially if you're not comfortable with the handcuff tech, but even if you're about to go through a kill turn, once you've loaded up your sequence and decided on what to do, just heal, because you never know if you just miss. But obviously, if you know you have a chance at missing and you don't want to take any risks, you do something else, or you heal beforehand just in case you get hit. There's no reason to launch the action sequence and then not heal, because that's, if you're going to die because of it, it's not great. We're going to take quick thinking, by the way. I have a funny feeling in my bones. So, item in inventory, which is not great for ramen, but we will be using it at some point. Also, we're on our third mystery with 19% doom. So, and effectively 9% doom because of how, because of having the Akamanto's mask. That's all I have to say. Why are we taking not a lot of damage? That is a good question. I mean, first of all, not getting the experience roll in Azol. If we had the experience roll, we could just be at like 40% doom right now. I have nothing else to save there. We can share our experience there, though, because I feel like grabbing a pack of cigarettes. Basically, cigarettes is a way for me to just say, hey, I want to use more nicotine rush buff. Let's use more nicotine rush buff. Especially as we're reaching the 4th and 5th mysteries, where enemy damage is going to be ramped up to some extent. But, hey, -2 all here. Oh, yeah, we can do Desperate Prep. I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, why did I just take the damage at face? Because I'm going to do Desperate Prep strong. If I brace, I don't think I could have gotten enough damage reliably to 2-turn. So, that's all I'm trying to say. So, and I mean, I guess I could talk about that. I'm just autopiloting at the moment, so there's not much happening on screen. But what I could do is save all this ramen for later. Yeah, you know what? We're going to try that out. We'll keep one in our inventory, but we need to remember to get rid of one at the end of this mystery before Azol slaps us with Doom. I forgot what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about something strategy-wise, but as we let him ramble for experience, we're just going to be taking more Doom here, so we don't really... Oh, no, never mind. It's stamina. Forget what I said. I'm a liar. But we can throw the brick and do some damage, extra damage. Now, my next question is... Yeah, if we had hit that second attack, I think we would have been out. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, so we're just going to gamble on this. Yeah, I think this is actually 9 damage per, right? Yeah, it is. So if we hit both of them, cool things happen. But we switched the ritual robes out for the map for the moment. I was going to say something, but I don't know how... I didn't want to say it anymore. So off we go. But right before the end here, hopefully we don't run into another enemy. Again, we're holding on to the ramen for emergency healing. So, as discussed here, although 20 power, we do have an okay chance. I just need to not miss both of these. Otherwise, I'm going to be a bit sad. Okay, good. And into the forest we go. So we use both cigarettes. We hold on to one ramen, because either way, we're going to use it at the end. The question is whether or not I should take out 2, because... Yeah, I'm just being a bit greedy here, but I guess I will. Also, I think I can grab another ramen. So if we do, I'm just going to use 1 for the moment. But once we fight these taxis, I think I will basically use it. So here's another kind of tactical use here with very small differences. By that, I mean... let me just focus for a moment. Yeah. So by that, I mean... In the previous episode, we had the order ticket, which is taking up an inventory of space. Essentially, unless, of course, you have something that hurts you through curses, having basically this as a curse, as opposed to an order ticket filling my inventory, I believe is usually going to be a lot better for you, because sometimes maybe you run into Rumu Ghost, or not Rumu Ghost, the nurse, or the doll nurse, or the Burning Man. And you can pick up a lot of items and essentially saves you 3 damage. Now, sometimes that won't matter, but an extra 3 damage because of an extra inventory slot of a branch or a broken bottle does help out. But at the same time, again, it's as I just mentioned, it's probably not going to be the most important thing. So, why am I so slow, by the way? Well, I guess you find out. And so the reason I'm saying all that is because if I use... I'm probably just going to use it here because I'm pretty sure I will need it, but... Yeah, the reason why is so Azal only at in this specific situation, Azal is penalizing me for items in inventory. However, in a way, we have an item in inventory because when we use Thoughts of Ramen here, we will get an item here. So effectively, if I don't use it and then finish the mystery, basically, I would be saving on an inventory space. Now, the opposite side of that is I could have just used it and then just stored it, but in case something happens to your inventory, it is nice to use. And another thing to mention is that in the case of, say, you have a bunch of items, whether you did dullness or whether you just have a bunch of items in your inventory, you essentially have more because, again, that curse is essentially storing a pack of ramen, or a bowl of ramen, sorry. I said pack because I was recently eating ramen. Can you believe it? But, let's see here. Do I gamble? I'm going to gamble. We're going to go for desperate action anyway, and I did lose quite a bit of HP here. So, all of that ramen did help out, but don't we have another one? No, we don't. But we can rest anyway. So, if I did not have ramen, I think I would have been in a bunch of trouble. I think I had some items to throw, but it would not have made up for the damage I was taking. Another way to look at that encounter is that the ramen was essentially extra turns that I could use. And so what I'm thinking of is whether or not I used the bath and I had an empty bottle. Is whether or not I had items that basically, it probably wasn't going to be equal to the damage I could do in a turn, but it was still going to help out. So again, the question is whether or not, here's the experience rule, by the way. Question is whether or not I would have gotten out even with the, without the ramen and only throwing items, basically. Which, I mean, we could do some calculation here. So 4 damage, 1 damage, 0 damage, funny enough. And I don't know if the Tome of Rot can be thrown. So yeah, 5 damage, don't know. Probably would have had to dodge or brace a bunch, but that's in the past. In fact, I probably couldn't brace. Yeah, this character, she doesn't have a lot of strength, so shrug. But because of the inventory rule, yeah, because of, no, I mean, if I use the ramen, I can just store it right now. There are basically practical uses of having a curse that gives you something as opposed to something else that gives you, that plants an item in your inventory. That, especially if you can't store it, which is what I did last time. But as we move on, let me grab some ramen and we will continue onward. Stamina, please. Yeah. But did I heal more than I expected? No, we went from 4 to 7, so that still makes sense. But as we use our something, quick thinking? No, I'm not sure. Well, anywho. Let's actually store the Tome of Rot. I could have just sold it to avoid out of funds. It's not like we were on a random item stat run, but here on the other hand, yeah, we definitely run from this. Keeping in mind that we do have Akamanto's masks, so we have the Doom to spare, which means the question then becomes whether or not the Doom we spend escaping is worth the experience we lose, but we save on HP. That's what I'm trying to say. We have 2 Tomes of Rot, by the way. We also have painkillers, which I'm just going to gobble down now. And we'll take out the empty bottle later. We have a bunch of experience, so we are going to take some Doom in the face. But we might be okay regardless. So this is going to be like 7 Doom, 9 Doom. And we'll survive for the moment. But we don't want our... I mean, there's a very low likelihood, barring a 9 Doom increase from Azal, that a tragedy occurs. And that would have to involve very bad RNG. That's all I'm trying to say. Things I'm thinking of are like bad events 39 times in a row and we end with 95 experience. Shrug, right? But we'll see what happens. That being said, just to get back to the topic of the actual star of this video, the ramen's doing a lot. The ramen's doing a lot. So, hey, and at the end of the mystery, so another quick base tip, if there's nothing else to take from this video, aside from what I said at the beginning for base, my first base advice is that if you're on Azal and you have the fund rule and it's your last mystery, just toss all the funds at the end of the mystery. That way you're not taking any Doom. Because you don't have to worry about out of funds afterward. You know what we're going to do? We're going to drink this empty bottle. I think this is 6 damage per. I hope it is. No, it's not. Meat Cleaver is a lie. I thought it... oh, it already calculated the bonus damage. Well, hey. We'll take the actual box cutter and equip it for the moment. But... we'll continue walking forward again. We have the Doom to spare, which means the other side of that means I can just rest at the lighthouse. In fact, I'm going to do a lighthouse rest there. And off we go. Now, at the same time, we could also just get really... What do you mean, coughing blood? I think that's from cigarettes randomly as well, oddly enough. So, yeah. if that message was an indicator, but I wasn't looking at the message. I was thinking, yeah, that's something that I just came back to me. You can get coughing blood randomly, question mark? But it doesn't happen often. Or does it? Well, I guess we're going to find out, because if we get that again, because I assume that can happen again, we actually die because of zero statting. So I guess we're going to find out. Take the knife, take stamina damage, and we sit here. Because we still have a better item for us. Now, before the end of the mystery, we do need to store everything. So, the map will be no longer, well, and yeah, for some reason I thought the map also can help you out in the mansion. It does not. So, yeah, off we go. We probably should just run for, actually, we're taking doom damage here. Might as well just attack all the way. In fact, we're using the box cutter, so we definitely want to make use of it. Even if we have Toxi-san later on, because I forgot my second encounter, even though at the beginning of the video I said I was going to remember it. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So, off we go. Box cutters are broken. I should have swapped the items, but it doesn't really matter at this point, because we take 11 Doom because of 2 funds, 1 item in our inventory, question mark? Does that item, was that because the ritual robe goes in from my weird collection before Azal calculates Doom? If that's the case, fun times, but we're just going to keep the box cutters on for funsies, and off we go. Ah, my eyes! So, actually, no, you know what, we're gonna swap. Who am I kidding? So, we will take everything else out to throw, but, yeah, aside from that, and we'll take out the knowledge because knowledge, but, yeah, off we go. But yeah, not really much else to say. In fact, did I even use the ramen? I did not, so I could take out ramen again, because when the mystery ends is when we get a refresh. So, in a funny way, we can actually, use ramen in the middle of this lighthouse. I'm not going to call it a big immersion factor because this, especially since this status effect and the ramen does not exist anywhere on the internet yet. So, I mean, hey. Otherwise, something I would think about is, yeah, basically making so that you can't grab ramen while you're ascending this lighthouse. Unless you want to immerse yourself and say, hey, just Eldritch ramen. But as I stand here and I don't remember, we took taxi later. There's no way we fought nothing before Akamanto. In fact, I think we fought the dentist first, so I'm just going to say Akamanto. No, it was the centipede, or one of the two above. If it was actually the taxi driver, I'm gonna be a little surprised. But anyway, without further ado, not really much else to say, because no matter what, we should be able to survive here. But yeah, if you have anything to say yourself, so we can end this video quicker and not take up your time, then you know what to do. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, because I have some projects I need to touch up on. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!